A new book has been released that reveals never-before-seen data from the longest ever study on human intelligence. So what does the research reveal? Well, that's what I'll explain right now. Welcome to my channel. Before I explain what the study found, let me first explain what the study actually is. It's called the 1970 British Cohort Study, and it is a national longitudinal study based on a representative sample of people born during 1 week in April 1970 in the United Kingdom. The study follows the lives of these people, checking in on them at different ages to see how things like health, education, employment, and finances change over their lifetimes. Researchers analyzed data from when the cohort members were 5 years old in 1975, 10 in 1980, 16 in 1986, 21 in 1991, 30 in 1996, 38 in 2004, and most recently 42 in 2012. Now the study is not over. They are still analyzing the data from the most recent check-in, and they will continue to monitor the group as they get older. So far, the study has been incredibly comprehensive. For example, researchers have looked at everything from how their personalities develop to whether or not they have kids and how many. One of the most interesting things that Davy looked at is how the group's intelligence changes over their lifetime. As part of the study, the participants took 3 different intelligence tests as children and then again as adults. Now, here's the thing. When the researchers analyzed the results, they found something really interesting. People who performed worse on the intelligence test as children saw big increases in their intelligence when they were retested as adults. However, those who scored higher on the childhood intelligence test saw very little improvement, meaning that the lower performing kids caught up to the higher performing kids in adulthood. But what makes this finding so fascinating is that both groups started off with the same amount of intelligence. Okay, technically, the group that scored higher on the test had a slight advantage, but the difference was so small that it could easily be explained by random chance. And yet these two groups ended up developing different trajectories for their intelligence. So what caused such a big difference between these two groups? Researchers dug through all their data to figure it out, and according to them, it came down to just one habit. That's right, just one habit accounted for the differences between these two groups. But what was the habit? Well, it turns out that the habit was reading. Reading accounted for 4 times the impact of parental education. On average, kids who did better on reading tests at age 5 improved their intelligence by 20 points by age 42. Kids who lagged behind on reading at age 5 saw their intelligence improve by almost 30 points by the time they were 42. I know what you're thinking. How can reading lead to higher intelligence? Like, if I pick up a book, am I gonna instantly get smarter? No. Of course not. It's not that simple. The way it works is that reading improves your ability to learn. It helps you process information, think critically, and solve problems. These are all skills that contribute to intelligence. Research gives you a competitive advantage in the areas of verbal and cognitive skills because it forces you to use your imagination and engage with ideas and concepts that you might not have thought of otherwise. And the best part is that anyone can read. Sure, some people start out with advantages. They might have better access to books or higher quality education, but once you learn how to read, all you need is a little bit of time and a willingness to learn. It's important to note that the relationship between reading and intelligence goes both ways. Higher intelligence also makes it more likely that you'll read, which means that people who are smarter tend to end up reading more. So the relationship between reading and intelligence is complex. But one thing is clear, reading plays a huge role in shaping our intelligence. There's tons of other evidence to support this claim. For example, a 2018 study published in the Journal of Educational Psychology found that kids who read more performed better on a variety of cognitive tasks. Another study published in the same journal in 2020 found that reading ability predicted cognitive ability, even after controlling for factors like socioeconomic status and parental intelligence. Okay, so that's all great and well. But what's the harm in not reading? Does it really matter if I don't read for a few weeks or months? Well, it turns out that not reading can have some serious drawbacks. For example, a 2021 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that kids who read more often have better mental health outcomes. And another study published in the same journal in 2022 found that reading can help reduce stress and anxiety in adults. Beyond mental health, not reading can have real-world consequences too. A 2021 study published in the journal PNAS found that reading ability is strongly associated with earning potential. In fact, adults with low literacy skills earn significantly less money than those with higher literacy skills. The study found that the earnings gap between low and high literacy adults is similar to the gap between those with less than a high school education and those with a bachelor's degree. Now, obviously, reading ability isn't the only thing that determines how much money you make. There are tons of other factors at play, but it is clear that reading is an important skill that can help people succeed in the real world. So, what should we do about this? Should we force kids to read more? Well, probably not. No one likes being told what to do. Plus, it's important to remember that reading should be enjoyable. Otherwise, it becomes a chore. And nobody learns when they're bored. Instead, maybe we should focus on making reading more accessible. As technology advances, it's becoming easier than ever to consume content. With just a few clicks, you can watch a video, scroll through social media, or listen to a podcast. Unfortunately, reading is becoming a less popular way to pass the time. According to a Pew Research Center survey, 28% of Americans say they haven't read a book in the past year, up from 22% in 2011. And a survey by the National Endowment for the Humanities found that only 47% of adults read for pleasure in 2018, down from 51% in 2012. Of course, not everyone wants to read, and that's totally fine. But for those who do, we should make it as easy as possible. We live in an age of instant gratification, but reading takes time and patience. We need to teach kids the value of reading and give them the tools they need to succeed. If we can do that, then maybe we can help the next generation develop the intelligence they need to succeed. Speaking of which, I've got a question for you. Do you read regularly? If so, what's the last book you read? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing what you guys have to say. Now, before you go, I've got a favor to ask. You see, my goal is to make Rana the best place for you to grow your knowledge and skills, but I'm not there yet. I need your help. Please take a few seconds to leave a like and subscribe. By doing so, you'll help bring these videos to more people, which in turn will help more people grow their intelligence and achieve success. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.